Is a variable annuity the best investment you can make over the next 10 years? Oh my goodness, Josh, how dare you say variable annuities? Don't you know how bad they are? That's why we're going to bust out the PVC pipe of knowledge. The PVC pipe of knowledge! Because only your old buddy Josh comes up with these ideas and strategies for it. Now, this is not a recommendation. You're not buying anything based on this channel. If anything, go the exact opposite, and you'll probably be better served by doing everything opposite of what I say to do. But I'm not telling you to do anything. I was thinking about this. I was talking to these clients the other day. I said, I think there might be an opportunity here. But I don't know. Do not do what, I don't even know how you go about buying a variable annuity. I guess you could buy one from Fidelity or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so let me show you what I was thinking about. So I was looking at variable annuities today because this it piqued my interest. P-E-A-K-E-D, piqued. So here we got one from a company called Equitable, equitable.com, and I not recommend this product. I don't know anything about it. I don't know the commissions. I don't know the fees. I don't know anything. All right, it's just FYI. But they're chock full of fees, Josh, don't you know? I do know. I do know. And the reason they're chock full of fees is because they give you a benefit. So let's see right here. Deliver guaranteed income with flexible growth potential. All right, so we're going to come down here, and I'm going to show you. This is what's interesting to me. All right, so right here, clients can lock in an initial 7% deferral and income roll-up that applies to the first 7 years. After years 8 and after, roll-up rates are tied to the U.S. 10-year Treasury plus 2% with a maximum of 10% and a minimum of 7%. So what that simply means here, they're going to say, you're going to get 7%. This is, hang tight because I want to make sure you understand this. 7% compounded every year on year 1 to 7, a minimum of 7% for the next years. It could be as high as 10. So what does that simply mean? All right. So we have two scenarios in a variable annuity. You have two different accounts. You got the income account, the income base, all right, and you got the cash value. These are two completely separate things. Unfortunately, a lot of annuity salesmen let their customers believe that the income base is equal to the cash value, and that just ticks me off because when people realize they're not equal, they feel it's a variable annuity that's a problem as opposed to an idiot salesperson. So in this case, an income base, we're going to put $500,000 in a variable annuity for simplicity. We have a guaranteed minimum of a compounding 7% a year income base increase. So we know if we do the rule by 72, that means this will double to $1 million in year 10. The income base will double to $1 million year 10. We put $500,000 in here, all right? Now let's just say we get 6% a year on a rate of return, 6% a year. So we're gonna go hit this guy. That'll give us $890. Let me just double check my math here. 500 present value, 0 payment, 10 years, 6% interest rate. That'll give us 800. We'll say $900,000 bucks. All right. That's at 6%. All right, in Right Capital, I use 6%. That's what I use, of the expected rate of return on all stocks. Just FYI. All right, so we're sitting here thinking the income base is worth 10% more than the cash value. So a lot of people think this is what's called their walkaway money. I talked about this in my investment course, which you should buy. It's in the show notes. I never promote it. I need to because it's a good course. But or about my retirement planning course. Anyway, either way, I talk about it. This is not walkaway money. This is walkaway money. This is the money you can say, you know, Equitable, I'm sick of you guys. Give me a check. They'll give you a check for $900,000 bucks. And then if they took a check for $900,000 bucks, this would be gone. This is an income base. This is the money you can take your portfolio off. All right. I mean, the income. This is what you can take income off. Now, a lot of annuities will give you a choice of 5% if you're 70 years or older, or 4.5% if you're married filing, well, it doesn't have to be married filing jointly if there's 2 lives. Let me erase that. If there's 2 lives. So 5% if you're 70 years old and single, or 4.5% if you're 70 years old and 2 lives. And what that simply means is you get $50,000 a year guaranteed off that $1 million bucks, or $45,000 if it covers 2 lives. A lot of annuities do. Now this Equitable one is it actually makes you annuitize it, and that's fine. I got no qualm with that. And so your annuitization would be $100 million. You'd be annuitizing $1 million bucks. And I might be wrong in that. I just did it more than a cursory look, but look into it. It looks like you had to annuitize it to get income. That doesn't bother me. So either way, and I don't know, the annuitization be on 2 lives at 7 years old. I'll actually take a look. Let's look at incomeannuities.com and see what they pay us here. It's actually called immediate annuities, not incomeannuities.com. So very interesting. So we're just going to say you're 70 years old. All right, we're going to put 70 years old. We're going to say you're how dare they only give us 2 genders? Don't they know? We're going to say that. We're going to say we got 1 million schmackaroonies. And we're going to say our income starts date in a month. And we're going to say the second, our lady is 66 years old. And she's going to be a female. How dare they? And we're going to say just a joint and life survivor right here. Let's just look for more quotes here. 10-year life and right there. All right. So we're going to get $55.75 a month on life and 20 years period served. So it's going to cover both of our lives or both of our lives or 20 years, whichever is longer. All right. So as long as we're both living, or as long as one of us is living, we're going to get that $55.75 a month. If we die before 20 years, our heirs will get the remainder of the 20 years. All right. So I've done videos on that. I talked about my course as well. So 55, I think it was 72 times 12. We're just going to say 66,000. All right. So what happens here with a regular variable annuity, you can get the 50,000 here or 45,000 without annuitizing, which means you still have access to any cash value that's left. All right. Now, what's happening here is you're pulling this money is actually coming out of the cash value. So if that goes to zero because of market decline or anything like that, you don't have any cash value left, but you'll still get the 50,000 a year. Just keep that in mind. So what happens the minute you start taking income from this annuity, it's really dipping into your cash value. So the market drops, your cash value is going down. But this could still go to zero, and you still get an income stream. All right. Now, that's one of the benefits of these annuities is that you're saying, look, if this goes to zero, I'm still getting my income. Now, on the other hand, let's just say the market goes up and performs better than what we're showing here, then you could even get an increase in your income stream. This is on a guaranteed minimum, is it withdrawal or income benefit? Well, there's a term that annuities use. Guaranteed minimum income benefit, guaranteed minimum withdrawal benefit, I can't remember. But this is what these things typically are. Now, this equitable one, this is, no, you got to annuitize the whole thing. So here we put $500,000 in. 10 years later, we got $1 million of income. We get $66,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of our life. There'll be no inflation adjustment or anything like that. All right? That's freaking attractive, man. Oh, but the fees. Yeah, okay, the fees. What do the fees do? They guarantee us the 7% a year roll-up. It could be even more. It's being guaranteed because of those fees. This right here is what I call a naked account. This doesn't have any guarantees. And there's no guarantees. All right, so if I got 6% a year on average, I am better off, and I want the income as opposed to liquidity, I am better off here than I am there. You see the arbitrage? I'm saying, what do you think you're going to get on the market? If you think you're going to get 7% or more, and you want the money you want the income as opposed to the cash value, the annuity looks fantastic. Even if I got to annuitize it. If I'm 60 years old today, and I'm like, man, I want to secure some income 10 years from now, or I'm 50 years old today, I want to secure some income when I'm 60, this annuity looks great because it guarantees to double your income stream in 10 years. It could be more. Could be more. And you're like, okay, I get $66,000 a year as a 70-year-old man with 2 lives. So if I'm alive or my wife is alive, we're getting $66,000 with no risk at all. None whatsoever. I put in $500,000. I'm getting $66,000 a year. We call that, I hate to say yield to cost, but just give you an example here. $66,000 divided by $500,000. That's equivalent of a 13% distribution amount. Now, again, it's not quite as no one would ever argue, use that as a sales pitch or anything like that. But I'm saying, I drop in $500,000 today. I'm guaranteed $66,000 in the future. Now, it could be more if the market goes up. Let's say this goes up at 8% clip as opposed to 6%. Now, again, the reason why we don't think the cash value is going to grow at 8% because of fees. I mean, it's usually about 2 to 3% fees on there. So we don't think it's gonna. But it could. Last 15 years, these annuities freaking made money. It could. So now we say, okay, $500,000. Grows at 8% a year for 10 years, 0 payment. Now that sucker's worth $1.1 million roughly. All All right. So now I can say, look, now I can walk away with this money. I can annuitize a portion of it. I can do a million things if this cash value grows more than my income base. Now, people say all the time, but Josh, the market could give you 10% a year without the fees. It could. It could. It didn't do that from 2000 to 2009, though. It just did not. My expectations in Right Capital is not going to. Vanguard's expectation is not going to. Most firms don't have expectations of 7 to 8% a year rate of return going forward. They just don't. And as such, you're like, huh. So if we expect a 5, 6, 7% rate of return with all the volatility that comes with stock market, the variable annuity with a 7% guaranteed roll-up starts to look pretty attractive. Now, let's say this did grow at 8% a year. And now I'm sitting at 1.1 million. And now we get hit with a 2008. And I'm down 37%. You know what's not down 37%? This guy. This guy stays right there. I mean, literally, this is attractive. Very attractive. It says at the end of the day, we guarantee as an income stream this amount of money that you can't outlive, your wife can't outlive it. The only risk is that annuities are not guaranteed by FDIC or the federal government or anything like that. There's a state guarantee. I'm not going to get into that. But there is risk that theoretically the insurance company could go kaput. Not likely to happen, but that could be a risk for sure. I hate to say it though, if insurance companies go kaput, most likely the markets are going to go kaput too. So again, the drawback is if you did this, you're locking in an income base that could be significantly lower than the cash value if the markets continue to grow like they did. So if you have a 15% rate of return on the market, you're not getting 15% on the cash value in your annuity simply because that's too many fees. All right, so that's just fact. Now, I don't expect a 15% rate of return. I don't expect a 12 or 10. I expect a 6. And that's all stocks with massive volatility. Here, there is no volatility on this income base side. The income base, you start with X, you end up with Y after 10 years. That is a fact at the worst case scenario. Here, we start with X. We don't know what we're going to end up because it's the cash value side. It could be more, it could be less. I don't know. Or you could say, I'm not going to do any annuity. I'm just going to invest it because if I invest, I should expect to get more because there is no fees on it. And as such, I should expect my portfolio to grow higher than what I could do here. I mean, it might, probably could. The likelihood of that happening is quite high, except for the fact that very few prognosticators expect historical rates of return to continue for the next 10. If you expect a 6% rate of return on stocks, and we can guarantee you a 7% roll-up on your income stream, and that, again, if you don't need the income because you're pensioned out and all that stuff, then this wouldn't make any sense. This only makes sense for people to say, I don't have enough guaranteed income. I want guaranteed income. Let's just look a little bit more of this product. I think this is it right here. And so I want to show you guys something. All right, right here. So we're going to come over here to Wealth Guard. What's it, the Wealth Guard? Let me tell you. Yeah, I don't care about these death benefits. They return to principal death benefit. I don't care. All right, so what's happening here? Take a look at this. Here you can take your highest anniversary value for an additional fee. Investors can lock in possible market gains at contract anniversary dates until they reach 85 as a basically to pass on to your right there. So you can see locked in against a death benefit. I just don't care about the death benefit because we're trying to annuitize this we're trying to get income off this. So don't get sucked into these things about the death benefit and all that stuff. That's not a big thing to me. You're paying. And here's their investment options. If you're going to do an annuity and you're paying for the fees, you better be as aggressive as you possibly can because you're really not touching this money for 10 years. We do not want conservative investments in these things. Why pay massive fees for heavy in bonds? That doesn't make sense. I cannot tell you how many people do that. It drives you crazy. Rise in income potential. This is what's pretty cool. All right, market-based resets. All right, so if the markets go up, watch this. The account value goes up, your benefit base goes up. So you start with $100,000, your account value grows 20%, which I don't think it would, but then you see this benefit base resets at 20%. The account value goes down, your benefit base stays the same. Your benefit base stays the same. That's what I'm saying. So the market increases, your benefit base increases, and when the market goes down, your benefit base stays flat. That's pretty attractive, man. That's pretty. I might do one of these things. I'm a huge fan of these things. Treasury tied roll-up rate. We already talked about this, but rising rates. You can see right here. Right here. Still receive guaranteed income. Kind of jumped on me there. Flat right here. The benefit of Treasury tied rate is high as 10% that compounds annually. Your account value moves in a flat market. Your account value goes down. This income benefit base stays the same. Of course, the account value goes up. I think we showed you. Market-based resets, the account value goes up, your benefit base goes up to it. Do not do this based on me. Do your own doggone research. But the idea of variable annuities being horrible for everybody because of the fees, you're buying something for the fee. You're buying an income stream you can't outlive. I don't understand how people don't get this. They're like, oh, there's too many fees. Yes, what are the fees for? I'm buying something I can't outlive. That's what I'm paying the fee for. And then you're like, well, I don't need the income. Then you shouldn't have a variable annuity. You shouldn't. I have no pension. My only pension is Social Security. That's it. I would like to have more guaranteed income when I retire. So for me, this looks quite attractive, frankly, because I'm like, I can lock in a 7% roll-up, guaranteed at the minimum, double my benefit base from now until 10, 15 years from now. It'd be more than 15 years. Because I said after 7 years, it can go as high as 10%. We'll just say 7%. So guaranteed a doubling of my money every 10 years. Not my money, my cash value money. This income-based money, and all you got to do is turn on the annuitization right here. And I say, yeah, I'll annuitize something, you know. Anyway, I'd love your thoughts, man. Don't let these suckers say, oh, annuities are horrible. They're just not. You know, they have a role, man. Like a firearm has a role. It's just a tool. That's it. All right, God bless. Don't forget to subscribe to the whole thing. We'll see you guys.